Hello. So I recently buffed up Cascade, and someone is asking me why I didn't level up his health cliff, and they just wondered why I don't do this in general. Like on a lot of my heroes, I don't level up their health. And this is actually something I've been doing for a long time. I actually did a video about this a while back, but it's actually way back in 2022. So I thought it'd be a good time to kind of do a refresher and explain like why you might not want to, the reasons why you might not want to level up health, especially on like a damage focused hero like Cascade. So if you don't understand like how the energy system in Hero Wars works, every time a hero uses a skill, it adds 10% of their energy, right? So you have 1,000, so it's 100,000 energy. It's like energy, like when your max out energy is out of 1,000. So if you attack something, let's just do here for an attack here. So, and we also get a bit of extra energy from this war flag here. But every time you use an ability, they gain 10% of their energy or 100 energy. It's out of 1,000. So, but also every time they take damage, they also gain energy. And the amount of energy they gain is based on how much damage they take as it relates to a percentage of their health. So the less health you have, the more energy you gain for the same amount of damage. So if you have, say, let's say a hero has 1,000,000 health. Like let's say they have 1,000,000 health like Aurora, she almost has like 1.2 million health. But let's just say Aurora has 1,000,000 health and she takes 100,000 damage. So 100,000 damage would be 10% of her health. So she would gain 10% energy from that. However, if a hero had 500,000 health and they took 100,000 damage, they would gain 20% of their energy. So by skipping health cliffs, you can make it so they can get their ult a bit faster. This can affect certain heroes, especially like damage heroes or ones that like combo off. Like Lars is probably the classic example of underdoing your health. Where is my Lars? So my Lars, we don't have his health skin leveled up. We don't have, actually I do have his health cliff. Yeah, we did on him. We do not have his health skin though. I didn't set he's also only red ring, so I skipped some of his later things, but his ultimate, I have this Lord of the Storm, is like important. Like if you're pairing with Krista puts down ice shards, periodically. Krista's my strongest here, right? Yeah, she puts down frozen needles. These are ice shards. They don't really do anything on their own unless the hero moves over them. And Lars ults, Lord of the Storm, what it does is it moves heroes so that it could actually do damage. See, not that. Let's find a different team. This one might work. Let's try this one here. They have Lara Croft though, so. But yeah, let's. Do you have Lars? Like, so we also have this war flag here against. Oh yeah, we're getting wrecked with by not having chorus. Okay, there you go. He gets his ult up. You see Krista's ice shards here. Like, and that's what his ult does. He pretty much moves him around so Krista can do damage. And by having lower max health, he's able to do that a bit faster than if he didn't. So this can be a valuable way to get, like I said, to get a bit more consistency with your heroes. Can make him a bit more fragile. Like, it can make him a bit more vulnerable. I just saw Lars almost died there, but because he was almost dead, he had full energy and was able to combo off as soon as the stun wore off. Like, like I said, against Lars, you should probably usually use Chorus as your pet, but we got the win there. But yeah, probably the other reason you might want to do this is because everybody loves guild battles. They love to do max power testing against different other heroes or whatever. But because if you're like your heroes aren't fully max, like if you have lower energy, they might expect, right, their test will be like, well, okay, Lars is gonna combo off at like, 25 seconds remaining, and then but because my Lars' life was lower, he might combo off at 20 seconds remaining. Could absolutely throw off their whole like test, like when they're testing stuff. So like it can definitely change the variables there. Makes it harder to test against because the variables are different. Like if your heroes are fully max, it's a lot easier to max test against them because, well, they have they can solve the variables and get like a perfect like simulation pretty much any time on a hero that doesn't involve randomness. Obviously, critters and dodgers really change up like the consistency of max power testing, but heroes that don't have like any kind of randomness definitely can test more consistently. I mean, Lars, I'm pretty sure Lord of the Storm does have a bit of randomness in how it moves the hero. Sometimes it drags them slightly differently. Notice this one does seem to be have a bit of randomness to it, but it's not the kind of randomness you see with dodge and crit though. Dodge and crit is super, super random. But yeah, so that's probably like the two main reasons. But if we look, yeah, my Lars only has 260,000 health right here. So That's why he almost died so quickly, but also means he got an ult so quickly. Yeah, if I didn't do this glyph, this is like another 60,000. So if I didn't do this glyph, he'd only have like 200,000 health, which maybe that would have been better, but definitely it makes them a bit fragile. You kind of have to balance that out with being fragile, because that is the downside. They will die faster if it's not balanced. So you do have to plan that out. But like a lot of heroes, I wouldn't recommend that on the like tanks. Tanks, generally it's okay to have their health max, because taking it's kind of their thing. Probably the only exception would be Mushi and Shroom, and that's only because, let's see, is the max health, their starting health, starting health, let's see, or the max health. Yeah, their max health is 25% of the hero's health. So, by having a lower max health on Mushi and Shroom, her these things can actually heal up faster. If you keep their health lower, these can actually activate a bit faster because they have less health to heal up. So that's like the one exception on tanks, but most tanks you're fine to just max up their health. Other heroes that you can max up health on are obviously ones that don't use energy, like Isaac. And Isaac actually gains more energy by having lower health. Each attack charges by 10%. Yeah, yeah, so his health. Like, the more health he has, the faster he actually gets to use his ult. So he does that. He doesn't use energy, he uses charge instead, which is completely different. So having higher health is actually a benefit to him. He's like the one hero in the game where higher health lets him use ult faster rather than slower. The other example, of course, is Astrid and Lucas, who is way down here. And again, she uses something called Rage instead of energy. And yeah, it works kind of like energy, but it's not nearly as good as Isaac's charge. But again, you can definitely level up her health, since there's no advantage to not leveling it up on her. So yeah, those are kind of like the exceptions. But like other heroes that you could probably get away with having leveling up health on her be like dodgers, like Nebula, for example. Like, she's a dodger. You can always put Kayn to fix their energy. Yasmin, same thing. Yasmin's pretty frail already, so leveling up her health is probably the right choice. Yep, see. Did I ever do her skin? Of all of her skins, I did not level up her health though, so even on like I didn't like 336 is fine. But I'm always like, because you can never undo a health glyph when you've done, like, you can't undo any of these. Once you've put stuff in, it's permanent. There is no way to reset that. And that's the other thing. It's like, well, I just rather, like, if I ever need to, I can always add it later. Whereas if I do it and then find out I shouldn't have, it can really mess you up. Another one that was like a kind of a mess up is Martha. This kind of matters for Osh. Maybe not so much these days because there's like been more skins and stuff, but I skipped her health, but it's her second health skin, but being able to use her armor buff from her ult actually matters a lot during Osh, being able to keep that up consistently. Having too much health makes it harder for her to ult. And just even from like my own experiences, like my alternate account, the one I use for Let's Plays, my Martha is not nearly as high leveled as this one, and that one seems to perform a bit better than the Martha on this account for Osh the Eternal Keeper. So again, like, you just have to be careful about leveling up health too much. Like, it can be a double-edged sword because of the way the energy system works. And I've always like long felt like the energy system in this game is kind of flawed. This is also part of why heroes like Aurora have been so dominant, because they have a way to kind of just break the way the energy system works, and they are just able to gain a huge advantage because of that. It's also why Lyria's like top tier now, because she's able to kind of keep that in check. But yeah. Not too much more to say on that. If you missed my video where I buffed up Cascade, though, you can find that one down below. As always, thank you for watching.